East Point, Georgia is just 7 miles south of Atlanta. It's a quiet city with a population of 40,000. East Point averages 6 to 8 homicides a year. March 1st, 2001. A man is concerned about his mother. He arrives at her house to see if she's okay. He normally speaks to his mother by phone every day, but this day she did not answer his calls. Then he sees signs of foul play that lead to his mother's car.
Mom!
He makes a horrific discovery. Minutes later, East Point Police and Lieutenant Russell Popham begin a homicide investigation.
We discovered the victim was a female that had been shot and she was dead of multiple gunshot wounds. We did notice that she had been there for about 24 hours.
Police can already rule out one reason why the victim was murdered.
As always in any kind of crime, you try to figure out the motive, but obviously her car was still there as well as her pocketbook. So we didn't think at the time that robbery was the motive.
Detectives identify the victim as Pamela Clark. They also find a badge.
The victim was a probation officer with the state of Georgia. She worked for the Department of Corrections and she supervised probationers.
Since they have limited investigative resources, East Point Police request the FBI and the Georgia Bureau of Investigation to assist at the crime scene. FBI Special Agent Pete McFarland is on a task force that assists local police departments with forensic analysis.
A lot of the local police departments did not have the equipment such as Luma lights. We actually process vehicles for latent fingerprints. We process items that we pick up for latent fingerprints.
Agent McFarland finds signs Pamela Clark was shot at almost point-blank range.
You could see where the person had shot right through the window, and glass had actually impaled the victim's face. So it was very close. I guess you could say it was an execution.
The killer was both brutal and careful. East Point Police Detective Bobby Gray finds no bullet shell casings at the scene, despite multiple shots being fired.
No shell casings could mean that there was a revolver. Until we know differently, we're going to assume either the person picked him up or he was using the revolver.
Police believe the killer premeditated the murder because of the lack of evidence.
There was no fingerprints left at the scene. It was a very sterile scene.
Detectives want to know who would want Pamela Clark dead. For answers, they turn to the victim's son. He spoke to his mother every day. But she seemed happy and never mentioned trouble with anyone, including her probationers. To investigators, it seems that the fatal shooting was a random attack. That night, detectives go door to door throughout the neighborhood. They're searching for anyone who saw anything suspicious in the last 24 hours. They find only one witness.
He was in the shadow, though, and
The previous night, she heard noises that could have been gunshots. Then she saw someone calmly walking away.
What time of night was this?
around 8.
The witness said she saw a black male about 6 foot tall. She's looking at a distance from about 40 yards, so she can only tell that he had a low haircut, and he was about 6 foot tall, of average build. There was not much light. That's all she could come up with.
You got to tell me anything, or if something pops into your mind, just give us a call.
Unfortunately, the witness is unsure she'd recognize the man if she saw him again.
There are 3 bullet wounds.
The medical examiner confirms several findings investigators made at the crime scene. Pamela Clark was murdered 24 hours before her body was discovered.
Came in from this direction. I'm going to remove that bullet.
The medical examiner identifies 4 bullet wounds, 3 to the left side of the torso and 1 near the right armpit area. The tight grouping of the 3 wounds is consistent with police theories that the killer shot the victim at close range. Police get their first clues about the murder weapon when the medical examiner removes 3 .40 caliber bullets from the body. Although 3 bullets are recovered, the victim had 4 gunshot wounds. Investigators recover the 4th bullet from the passenger seat of the victim's car. It's also .40 caliber. Agents find the vehicle unusually cluttered with junk mail, bills, and other letters. The victim's son said his mother usually sorted her mail in the car after she picked it up from her mailbox. Agents also note a few other items.
I thought she may have had some children in the car because there were some wrappers also in the vehicle.
Based on the evidence recovered from the car, the autopsy, and witness interviews, detectives put together a murder scenario that paints a picture of a ruthless, calculating assailant. Investigators suspect the killer was lying in wait as Pamela Clark arrived home on the evening of February 28, 2001, at about 7:30 p.m. It seems he was familiar with his victim's routine as she arrived home from work. There he'd have a captive target as she sorted her mail. Detectives believe the killer either picked up all the .40 caliber shell casings or had some other way of containing them as he fired. Then he left Pamela Clark to die. Police have a theory on how the victim was murdered, but they have no suspects and a killer on the loose.